Hi and welcome. I'm John and this is Unique Wargaming Terrain. Guys, welcome back. This is a painting video. For all those of you that are new, I do a painting video every week, and it's usually for my pile of shame. So anything you see on the Let's Build video will eventually come through a painting video. I have heaps of other models that are already ready to go and be painted, just need to hit the pile of shame painting video. For all my regulars here, guys, I feel love, thank you very much. See you in a second. Right, so what am I painting today? Well, there's a number of Space Marines that GW has said they're going to be taken away for a little while, and one of them is this guy. He's a company master. It was Dark Angel's company master, but as my Space Marine chapter's Dark Angel successor, I'm going to be doing this guy. But this guy, this model itself, actually I got from the 7th edition of the box game of 40k. So I'm going to be painting him up today, my chapter colours. And I'm a little bit not sure what colours I'm going to go with, but I'm going to wing it anyway. So what we have is Nagrath Knight, Genesida Purple, Lothar Blue, Baneblade Brown, Screaming Skull, Corn Red. This is Corax White, because I was thinking about just doing the helmet slightly, doing that colour and trying to bring up with white. But there's white anyway. There's Retributive Armour, and this lovely little green here is actually this one. Yeah, however you pronounce that. Norlock Blue, no, Norlock Green, or I don't know if the K is silent or not, but anyway, that's that colour. I also have some Moot Green airbrush version, some Lead Belcher airbrush version. I have this contrast paint, yeah, and this contrast paint sitting in the background. I have some plans for these, but let's see. The first thing I've done is I've sorted the base out. Yeah, let's try brush the base. So the next thing I need to do is decide where I'm going to start. Now, because he's got robes on him, most of his armor is covered, so that's why I thought, this is a nice easy one, because my chapter colours are, you know, the Corn Red and the Screaming Skull, either side of the body. So it's really just a backpack, a little bit of arm there. His gauntlets are different, so, and his little feet hanging out on the bottom, the robes, that's it. The rest of it is just robes, so that's a good starting point. So I'm just going to take a second to have a look at it, decide where we're going to start. Probably going to start on the sword, just bring it right up straight away. Anyway, I'll have a look and I'll come back to you in a second, guys. Right, so I am going to go with the Air Belcher lead version, airbrush version, sorry. I'm going to get this to see a nice little base colour on the sword. Now I'm taking it straight from the lid. I'm not putting it on the wet palette because it is watered down enough as it is. If it goes on the wet palette, it just turns to silvery water. It's just not. You notice I'm doing it from side to side, because I want to keep that little line in the middle of the sword, the blade itself. I want to give it enough silver here and there, and just when I go to the next stage of it, it's going to be, make it look really pop, really nice. As some of you notice, I'm using the old Bandy paintbrush still. that's not for any particular reason. I'm just using it to base colour everything. I've just realised one colour I'm missing from my palette is Rhinox Hide, which I'll sort out in a second. There's got loads of little bits on here. Is there anything? Yeah, there's a little bit of chain there. Let's get this bulk gun. Some of this size of his bulk gun though looks like it's a like heavy, like not a heavy bolt, but it looks like it's a heavy assault bolt rifle or something like that. As you can hear in the background, there's some heavy rain coming on. I was not sure if I should do a painting video because of that rain, but I said, you know what, I'll just get on with it and do it. There's that one done. Let's get chapter colours on. This little foot. Now this is usually 2 thin coats and then just a little bit of here and there afterwards. This child piece, you want to go around, just follow it around. So you get to a point where you can't follow it around anymore, and you get your brush from the other side and do the same thing coming back. Be very careful coming in here because he has feathers on his helmet. The rain is absolutely coming down really heavy. I was contemplating filming today. I said, you know what, just try. Worst case scenario, the rain's too loud and it's not really audible. You can't hear me that properly, but you know, we'll just see. Now this is Screaming Skull. The Screaming Skull is a layer paint, so it'll go on bright and dull itself down. Screaming Skull is usually the colour that needs to have a touch up here and there quite a lot of time. But we'll just give it first thin coat. So as that's pretty much in there, let's get in there a little bit more. I'm going to leave that to dry for a second. But what I'm going to do is, underneath the backpack, there, a little circle, because I need to get in there with some silver, which I just totally forgot. Actually, now I still have the pot open. Silly me. And then now with these, let's see if I can get a good shot of this. This, I just want to do sort of a dry brush from side to side. Okay, by doing that, you keep the black undercoat on between the rib parts. You also had enough silver on it just to make it pop out, and you can get the rims of it as well. A very little effort, yeah. Now, yeah, I'll leave that to. No way. No, actually, I need to get some. I'm actually going to throw a thin layer of Corax white, sort of dry brush on the helmet. So you're going to say, why am I doing that? Because I just want to bring the helmet up from black. For me, this coat isn't that important. I just want to just lighten up a little bit. Too much pink come out there. It's a bit watery. Right, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go with Screaming Skull, and I'm going to paint this robe, bottom robe. Some people say, what are you doing here now? I'm lightening this up ready for contrast paint. I want it to be a certain way, that's why I never gave it the Gracia Xenophil. I just left the way it is. The paint still open. Okay, too far off camera. This robe might take a second coat, just to lighten up a little bit more here and there. But say second coat, it won't be a full-on coat, it'll just be to highlight sort of thing, certain areas of it ready for some contrast paint to come to. The rain has just suddenly stopped, which is nice. It's a good thing I decided to come out and film, isn't it? don't panic. You look at this now and think, oh my goodness me, what are you doing? Trust me, it will come together nicely. There's a little purity sealed along there, so just give that a little bit of grace here, bit of screaming skull as well. This robe as well is going to have a blast of screaming skull. So a really good thing about screaming skull, it is a layer paint, so once I start blasting bits onto it, I can just top it up here and there if I need to, because it will dull down. Trying to do downward strokes to give myself a nice less brush strokes. But this brush is knackered. It's absolutely knackered. See this base colour on, and I will then get the big boy out. Notice I hit the inside of the cloak, but not too much because it's dark in there, so you're not going to see very much anyway. Right, I'm just going to finish off the other arm, and I'll come back to you then, guys. Right. So I put some run oxide on the palette. I painted the front part of him here, these little bits that flap over the front of his robes. The reason for that is because he's from Caliban originally. They're from Caliban, so they would have worn bits of leather here and there, being Knights of Caliban. I've also done the strap on his gun. You don't need to see me do straps. And I pitted some white scars white and the feathers there just to bring that ready for contrast and stuff like that. So I've actually just missed his arm piece here. Maybe the base colour of this red. Right. And the other thing is, he's got these things dangling down in front of him. So I didn't want to paint the bit here, run outside bit, retribute armour, and paint them retribute armour, and it just looked weird then. Now I'm going to go with retribute armour. I'm going to go on his big wing on his shoulder. Get these little dangly things that are hanging off of him. You want to get the eagle on the front of the gun. But this part of the gun is just a simple little dry brush. So with the sword on the back, just a gentle little dry brush. Now, I also added 2 more colours to the palette. And that's Rune Lord Brass, because I absolutely really like that colour now. The Rune Lord Brass is going to go on his gloves here. And the other colour is Connectic Ally, which when used as a dry brush with over the Rune Lord Brass, it really looks good. I really like that 2 colour combination. Starting to pop now. Just need to decide what I'm doing. Just under his chin, between his chin and his hands, there's a little bit of armour showing. I just need to decide what I'm doing. I'll probably do it chapter colours just to break that whole area up on his face. So I'm going to leave it to dry for a little bit. You see the rhino side there still wet on his front there. Leave that for dry for a minute and I'll come back to it. Right, with the exception of this bit of rope hanging across his shoulder, the base colours are pretty much done. I've given it a second coat on the backpack. It might need a third one when it dries out here and there. See little just a few darker bits. I've done some of that Baneblade Brown on the gun. Again, Baneblade Brown is a layer paint, so it will dull down. So that just need a kind of a coat or two. Just looking around, there's this gold bit on his back. I never noticed, decided to do that. And his grenade now needs to be done, but that's not a big issue. So now I'm going with the Plague Bearer contrast, or Plague Bearer Flesh contrast paint. And we're going on to the robes. Paint all these robes. Good, healthy splash. Robes underneath as well. And then I finish the rest of it off. I'll come back to you in a second, guys. Right, so that's how it looks now at the moment. Still, as you see, it's still wet. So now I'm going to go with the blue contrast paint. And I'm going to slap it on the sword. I'm going to slap it all over. My opinion is a little bit too much on the back there, so what I'm going to do is just spread it out a little bit, try and remove some of it, because I want that silver to come through. As you can see already, you can see how like it's dark and light places. That's where when I put the silver on, I didn't put it on like evenly, it just slapped on. gives you a nice effect. Spin that around. See the blade? Yeah, so I'm going to leave that to dry now. So a little bit. What I'm going to go with now is Niagara Night. I'm actually going to water this down a little bit on my wet palette, and I want to wash these peppers with it. Why did I water it down? So that as it starts drying off, the whiteness of the feathers will shine through more, but it still hold that purple tint. I don't know about the light too close now. No, I don't know. No. I'm going with some White Scars White. And again, I'm not going to paint this on the helmet. It's going to be sort of dry brushed, sort of here and now. I want to build the layers up very slowly on it. I should actually change to the other brush for this work. 1 second. Right. I gave the backpack another little once over here and there. Seems to be nice and smooth now, but as you see, the shoulder's still wet. But the sword seems to be nice and dry. So now we're going to go into some dry brushing. So I'm going to start with some Gently Purple. Let's start getting these edges of these peppers done. You see what I'm doing there? I'm just sort of edging my way on the feathers. Where are we? Edging my way on the feathers. Just trying to bring them up a little bit. Actually, come on camera would be nice. And then just a little bit along where the feathers join in. Yeah, so like, so the edge of it is all light, and then just a little bit in the middle there just to join it in. And as you can see, the purple is a layer paint. So once you've done the first one on it, you might want to go over and leave it to dry and go over and do a second little bit on it. You're not covering the whole thing, you're just do something like that. So it dulls down, it blends in nicely and gives you different bits and pieces, different areas of purple. Okay, now I'm going for Connectic Ally, and I'm going to give this a gentle dry brush on here. Those braces and gloves look amazing now. A little bit more. Right, where are we going next? Let's just do some Screaming Skull, and this is just going to be on the leathery parts. So I don't want to get the whole strap up and down, so I'm going to do side to side a little bit here and there, just to make it pop a little bit. Okay, now this is where I really want to get a good on the strap here. Let me just so you can see the light. Gentle dry brush. Gentle dry brush. I think that's still a little bit wet. Yeah. It's a little bit wet in places, which is not an issue. Because I want to keep the brown, but I want to just, from the Rhinox hide, but I want to try and just make it look like leathery, worn leather. At this point, don't panic, because the Screaming Skull will dull down. I've got that light too close now. Light it back a little bit. Yeah, it will dull down. It's just got into little grooves on it and making it look absolutely amazing. Some Lough Blue is all new that was coming. Same you knew Screaming Skull was coming. And what I want to do is I want to sort of edge highlight the sword here and there. Come on, zoom in. So that's what it was originally. Yeah? How dark that is. There it is now. And some people might look at it and go, wow, that's amazing. Some people might go, nah, I prefer the old way he did it. I'll just experiment in new ways. This is a hero model after all, so, or HQ choice I say. So it would be nice to have a few different looks on different HQ models. Now what I'm going to do, some White Scars White, and I give it a gentle dry brush here and there. Some of you are going to say, oh, but the dry brushing you've just done is still a bit wet. Yeah, but that's the whole point. Now look at the blade. Come and zoom in. Now look at that. So this little bit down here to do. Just, to me, that looks absolutely amazing. Now, I know the Lopan blue is a layer, so it will dull down a little bit. So I could go over it again, or I could just leave it the way it is. Now it's just this cloak. First thing I'm going to do is take that green that I put on there, the foundation green. I'm going to get that grenade done first. This is the first little thing. Nice green grenade in there. Now, I want to dry brush this cloak. I'm going to start with edge highlighting it just to bring it up a little bit. Yeah, shoulder pad is the before I put the screen foundation on. Okay, something was, oh, why did you do this? Why did you? For me, I like that. I like this way. It just adds a bit more depth to the different colours. So to go over that dry brush of the screen, just go again on the front of the leather. This has gone a bit dull down too much for me. And I'm going to just slap a little bit along this edge. I'm getting a little bit carried away now. As I always do. Look at that edge. Yeah, it looks like it's just the cloak's worn. I love that. So I'll do it from this edge as well. this cup here a little bit. Right. I'm going back to that Corax white paint. For some reason it's really, really watery. I'm going to just gently do the ropes around his shoulder. Try to brush onto the feathers a little bit, just to pop them out differently to the cloak. Not a big fan of trying to do little ropes, but this way has happened. Where are we now? I think that's pretty much done. One thing I am going to do is grab a bit of scar white scars white, sorry, and just faintly go along the edge here. These feathers. And just try and pick out just halfway up. And there's one more. It's going to do this gentle, a bit more. Sort of looks a little bit for me. So give it a little bit more. And then just try and give his face a nice little once over once more. His face is pretty hidden in his shoulders there and behind the weapon. Right, I'm going to get some moot green. And I'm going to get dab straight from the pot. And I want to try and get into those eyes. Now with the Space Marine helmet, for me, it doesn't matter if I get it something like that, because the eye slots are illuminating light. Yeah, so it just illuminates up a little bit. And the last colour, before someone starts making loads of noise outside, is actually a shade, a frozen camo shade. And that's just for the gold bits. Let's give them a little touch up to gold, over the shade. And I'm going to chuck a little bit on the feathers as well, just to dull them down a little bit. And we are done. So guys, if you like this video, please like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications. I will show you some close-up pretty pictures now. So until next time guys, take it easy.